Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks!
What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got something a little bit different to share with you guys. I actually had a couple of different people reach out to me to tell me about this, and a bunch of you told me about this on a live stream here recently. And I'm very interested, very happy to share with you guys the fact that I have this here with me. So thanks so much to the people who sent this. Actually, it was at Aurora_knife_and_tool on Instagram. Give them a follow. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. And thank you so much to at Everyday City Carry. You guys probably know Rye. For also, kind of telling me, hey, you definitely got to check this out. So I've taken it out of the package. I covered this up because I didn't want people to think it was a Civivi. It was just sent in a Civivi pouch. But I guess this is by Max Level EDC. So this is called the Truffles. And I watched a short video of Rye playing with this. And it looks pretty interesting. So the way that you disengage the lock is by pushing in on the pivot. Now we've seen knives that have a lock that is disengaged by the pivot, but what's weird is, so it's a liner lock. You'd think that when you pushed in on the button it would move the lock that way. When you push in on this button, see that liner lock right there? When you push in, it moves the lock back towards the It's so interesting. That does make it different, and it works really well. Man, I'm so happy to say that. I mean, when you push that button, it just drops. CRKT did something, and it's a different lock because it uses like pins that are inside of the pivot, right? But the placement of the mechanism you use to disengage it is right there on the pivot. The thing that those knives are missing is this action right here. When you push that, it doesn't do this. This one does, making it really, really fun. Does it deploy that way? It absolutely does. So outside of that, what we have here is a compound, we can call it a Tanto. Yeah, it's compound Tanto. Hollow ground up front, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that is insanely thin up front. And then much more robust out here towards the tip, which I think is great. And then we have pretty classic knife lines down here. We have an ambidextrous pocket clip mount, which is awesome. Milled clip, milled backspacer. I think Rye told me that the Kickstarter officially ends on September 4th. Now, I don't know when you guys are actually seeing this. But I will still link the Kickstarter page. I don't know when these are going to be available. Boy, that does work really well. Can you front flip it too? You totally can. This is pretty cool. Not in the same way that like just a regular button lock is cool. There's something really satisfying. So this has been bowled out, right? So when you press into it, all the meat of your finger sinks into that bowl, which is a really kind of a weird thing to zero in on. But it's very satisfying. And it's satisfying in a different way versus a button lock. The buttons tend to be a lot smaller and not shaped in a way that accepts the majority of your finger meat. Why do I say stuff like this? Why? I don't know. I get it formulated in my head, and it just goes on the assembly line, and the guy's putting the words together up there like, I don't know about this one, and they're like, just go ahead and send it through. He'll make the final decision before it comes out of his mouth. But there are no safety protocols, so it just comes right out. Who am I blaming? Anyways, sorry about that. But yeah, it actually is very satisfying. And it looks nice too. It's a really good look. Wow, that is a huge but you know what? Hey, it looks good. The edges here are chamfered. Bit of an abrupt angle here. If this is a prototype, I like this. Like, I like all of this, but just first impressions, right? If you don't know, when I do an unboxing, it's not a review. It's just the first impressions. Right? The actual review will come later. But this is obviously a prototype. I think this edge could be knocked down just a little bit more, right? Because that's the first thing I notice when I squeeze it. But it's fine. Inside you can see how the liner lock is actually mounted or nested into the titanium. The other side has definitely been milled out for weight reduction. It's a really good looking knife. I mean, they didn't take too many risks with the aesthetic. Perhaps there will be more than one variation available. They list this in this little readout that I got because it came with this big piece of paper. They talk about the knife being designed for lighter duty. I don't know why this knife wouldn't be able to withstand the same types of tasks that, for example, like the Spyderco Smock would stand up to, or really any liner lock. The lockup is absolutely solid. There is no movement. There's no flex. It's totally fine. There's no stick. So interesting. So, I mean, obviously how this is working at the moment is a mystery to me. There is a little thing here that shows kind of how it comes together. Now, what do they call this? The roundhouse lock. Okay, Truffles is the first production knife to use SCIKIO''S, I assume is somebody's last name. Sorry, we'll learn more when we before I do the actual review. Innovative roundhouse lock, so named because of the steel leg between the liner and button that kicks the liner underneath the tang when the blade is deployed. Okay. Although hardy enough to stand up to most, this is the part that I read, hardy enough to stand up to most EDC tasks, Truffles is primarily designed for light EDC use. I would actually like to talk with the designer and try and understand what makes him feel like he needs to word it that way when knives like the Rat 1 are the same type of liner lock and are used for heavy duty. Probably because heavy duty or medium duty is very subjective, right? Everybody has a different... you got people who are like, it's not heavy duty unless you pound it through a cinder block with your face. I mean, and those guys are obviously a minority and probably are, having a tough time just walking around. But anyways, Truffles really excels in the fidget arena. I'll agree with that, and has a little bit of a typo there, and has a very addictive action. Also very true. Truffles is not at all recommended as a survival or defense tool. Okay, fair enough. Interesting. There's some more information there, but I don't want to sit there and just read. This is really cool. I'm always into, anytime there's something new or slightly different, it's inevitable that you'll have certain people saying, do we actually need that? Why? People always quote the famous Jurassic Park line. And to skip that, the answer is because if they didn't, then it would just be boring. We would be sitting here with buck 110s, open L's, and I don't know, just the Rat, right? It's for a lot of people, in fact, according to the polls that I recently did, for the vast majority of people, it is substantially more about, just the general utility of the item, the interest in things like this. I mean, it's hard to even find my channel without having a general interest that goes beyond utility. And I think this is really cool. Is it necessary? Was the pocket knife industry like totally lost and just like, oh God, no, we don't understand how to make a sharp tool and that's usable. Oh, thank goodness. No, absolutely not. But it's so wonderful that there are people out there doing things that are just slightly different, because in this case, it's pretty cool. It's pretty satisfying. I like it. Okay. I'll link any and all information about this thing right down below so you guys can check it out if you want to. That's going to be it for today. This knife will get a full comprehensive review a few weeks from now. Make sure you follow at Aurora_knife_and_tool on Instagram. And then also, just in case, I think this is max level EDC, so you might want to check that as well. Anyways, please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.